Lewis has done it again.
It's all Fernando Bain, the champion, well clear of Waymore's Blues, and Fernando Bain.
And welcome back to our pacing show of racing, pacing and chasing this week, and it's brought to you each week by the Kapunda Harness Racing Club. We thank them very much for your support. I'm Aaron Bain, Matt Knight alongside me, King of the North. It's a pleasure to be with you each week now, moving forward to bring you the pacing action, and we look forward to going in depth to racing not only in South Australia but Australia-wide as well, week in, week out.
No, mate, it's very exciting to be here. All new show we've got here at Piranha Media, so exciting things to come. Mate, we've got to thank the Prince Albert Hotel out in Gawler as well. Major sponsor of racing, pacing, chasing, and a lovely spot to go for a quiet pint as well.
I love the way you just put a quiet pint. There's never one with you around, mate.
I've had a quiet pint in my life.
Let's get straight into it because we've got plenty to get through, but I suppose we can only really talk about the last week, this being our first show, but the season's come to a wrap, Nighty, and what a wrap it was with the close finish with Danny Hill and Ken Rogers. Very close, dueling it out on 106 winners each in the end on the Drivers' Premiership, and it was built up to be a big night. Not sure if you tuned in any races. Danny had 2 winners. Ken Rogers didn't have a winner for the night, but it's going to go down to the wire, and there's still a bit to play out there, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, it's two fantastic drivers as well. So Danny Hill's one I always follow as well, which is she always seems to drive winners as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, well, Danny, to miss, I think, all of 4 months with the injury that happened on SA Cup night, just a full credit to her, whatever happens. I think Ken currently he's in front on count back of placings, but there's a bit to play out still in the steward's room over a bit of an inquiry. So he may lose it a bit there, but Danny, full credit to her.
Fantastic.
To be, and Ken, great season. First time he's driven 100 winners. Great driver, and he'll be here, certainly recognised in the months to come at the awards night as well, no doubt.
Raise the bat, both of them.
Yeah, exactly right. But Danny's on show last year. Wayne, what about Monday? What a start to the season,
mate. Fantastic. He's been unbelievable for a long period of time. Not just this season, but he's certainly hit the ground running, hasn't he?
4 out of 5. We'll talk to it later. I've got it in my ones to watch. He's our follower. You might want to lead into the next highlight of the last week.
Yeah, mate. Stephen Grace with a 150-1 winner, narrowly beating ABR's runner. I was there.
A bit of a sore point, mate.
Mate, I was down there to watch it as well, so it could have been my bad luck because I am known to be quite unlucky.
And welcome back to the pacing segment of Racing, Pacing and Chasing. I'm here with Matt Knight, I'm Aaron Bain, and we're bringing you Racing, Pacing and Chasing each week, and it is sponsored by the Prince Albert Hotel at Gawler. Nighty, I know you like going there and enjoying a quiet pint. Yeah,
mate, they're a fantastic supporter of the whole show here at Racing, Pacing and Chasing. Obviously a new exciting show from Piranha Media as well. So going to be very exciting. Great spot to go for a quiet pint down there as well, Aaron.
I like how you say quiet. We go straight into the action, and we've only really got the last week to recap, but we're going to be on weekly recapping all things harness racing, not only in South Australia but Australia in general as well. So the last week there's been a few highlights, and we have wrapped up the season, so there's certainly been 52 weeks of great racing action, and no greater way to finish than the Drivers' Premiership on the weekend, and it went right down to the wire. Both Danny Hill and Ken Rogers finishing on 106 wins apiece for the season. Ken Rogers narrowly in front at the moment with count back of placings. There's still a bit to play out. We'll leave it at that. There is still a bit to play out there with an inquiry going on into one of the wins. Nothing to do with Ken, but hopefully for Ken's sake, he's had a great season. You'd like to see him to drive 106 winners in any season. His first season of driving 100 plus as well. But on Danny's front, I think you were there that night when she had that accident on SA Cup night, horrific accident. To even get back to racing and driving is a credit to herself. And I tell you what, you can't keep that girl down. She is a phenomenon.
Oh, mate, she's one I always follow. If I'm looking to try and back a winner, which doesn't happen very often, but if I'm on her, they usually win. If
you backed her, you'd probably back more winners. Just back her all the time.
Yeah,
you don't normally go wrong.
The self-control's the issue, but no, that's all right. But Danny, she's an absolute star, and like you said, to hit 106 winners for both of them, incredible. But for her with her injury and that as well, it's fantastic. So both of them get to raise the bat, which is good to see.
100%. It's been a great year, and her brother Wayne, just wanted to open up proceedings on Monday and say, what you can do, sister, I can do better.
Yeah, he's an absolute star as well, not just this year, but for a long period of time now. He's started the season very well, Aaron, hasn't he?
Oh, I've put him down as one to follow later. We'll get to that segment. But I was talking to Wayne on Monday night. He said, pity that it didn't happen a month earlier. He said I would have been right in contention. I think he finished on 100, actually 6 wins short. Had he had a 4 winners a week earlier, it would have gone right down to the wire, you know. So he had a great season as well. And we'll lead into it. But, you know, Mildura's been very good for him. And he won the last race at Mildura for the season. Only on Timeless Jasper, and you know the commentator there at the time, he said the king of Mildura. He is last year. The last year he's proven that, you know, and he drives that track very well. He's in a rare fade of form at the moment, and to open up the season with 4 out of the 5 winners, he's in for a big year. Yeah,
he's very happy with that, and like I said, great driver as well. Good to see young Jaden Bruin as well. Really, he's taken to driving phenomenally, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, and he had a little stint in Melbourne, which probably made him a bit of a driver as well, but he's back. He won the leading concession driver at Mildura, and we touch on Mildura a bit because SA, the raids continue to be very successful, and, you know, for horses, trainers and drivers, it's a great place to be, and it's only a short drive up the road. But plenty to get through. The other one is big winner, mate, through the week.
Mate, huge winner. I was down there on Monday when it all went down. Stephen Grace had 150 to 1 winner, which narrowly beat your ABR runner Alcatraz Lass as well, which it still ran a very good race, but the 150 to 1 pop just had a bit more in the tank.
Well, we've got a special guest on later that was the driver on Alcatraz that night, Nighty. I'll let you interview him because I'm still no, only kidding. No, we were gallant in defeat. We accepted it, but I tell you what, we got narrowly beaten on the line, and good luck to them. They did have a small $10 each way on it, and they needed a few security guards to just cart them off course because they took the tab for a day out.
Well, mate, I'll tell you what, I had a dog win at $41, and we thought we'd just won an AFL Grand Final the way. There was grown men crying, hugging. I could only imagine what 150 to 1 pop feels like.
You should have been there. Anyway, let's get straight into it. We've got our next segment, 3 Wide No Cover. Tell us about it. What are we going to...
Mate, 3 Wide No Cover, brought to you by Punk Club as well. Jason Neve and the team at Punk Club. They're absolutely fantastic to us, and fantastic app to get your mates, your footy clubs, all, you know, anything wanting to have a punt. Beautiful app, makes it nice and streamlined for you, so no one's having to run bank statements anymore. So
I think we had a bit of a go on that, didn't we? With a bit of a group.
We did. We had all right as well.
You were the chairperson. I think that was the only thing that went wrong with it, but that's all right. We won't go there.
Again, couldn't back a winner there either. But Aaron, we're going to try and find the horses in the harness racing circles this week that went without a bit of luck.
Yeah, so my 3 Wide No Cover for the week is actually Ace to Play. So we trained by Ray Holden, driven by Jake Webster. He's our special guest tonight. We'll have him on a bit later. The vision will show, and we'll go to the vision shortly. He gallops at the 700 metres and loses a lot of ground. I was speaking to Jake after the race, and he said, travelling very well and was going to really loom into it.
Danny's trainer controller, and that exacta bull got to 24,492. Good luck with your investments. 29.9 the second section, 60.3. Roxton Steel in front at the 600, leads by 2 metres. Trouble back in the field, All Day Bliss, and Ace to Play got into trouble.
But I want you to just crack him a little bit later. Was or wasn't he wearing white gloves at the time? All right?
Well,
it's a bit of an inside joke, but I'll leave it with you to ask. I won't, because you'll know where it come from, all right? But we'll leave it with you.
No, certainly always happy to ask and see how we
ask the tough questions, Knight, because it needs to be asked, all right?
Mate, that's absolutely right, mate. And continue to find unlucky runners as well with that 3 Wide No Cover each and every week, both here in SA and interstate as well. So hopefully we can then pick out a few black bookers.
It's one to follow at odds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Pick out a few black bookers as well for the punters and the viewers as well, mate.
Yeah, no, looking forward to it each week. The pressure will be on, and no doubt Rocky Butterworth will be trying to slip one in there as well. He always likes finding one at odds, but he'll probably keep them to himself, so we'll have to find him our way, mate.
Yeah, no, I love it, mate. And, mate, we'll move on. Let's get into the money. Thanks to Fluorio Milk, Clay, Tony Modra and Kimmy Costa and the team there for jumping on board racing, pacing and chasing for this year as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so in the money, none other, Wayne Hill. Absolutely opened the season up and gone bang. And I tell you what, I'm excited. 7 days out, this time next week, we're going to have him on the show, and I'm looking forward to it. And when he sees the hot seat, when we put Jake Webster under the old 10 questions in 60 seconds, he'll want to be doing his homework a week out, because the questions will be coming hard and fast at him. But great start to the season. 4 winners from 5 drives. He won the first 4 races on Monday, and not all favourite. There was 1 or 2 there at a reasonable, $7 or $8 mark. He was just on fire early. And I tell you what, you can rely on Wayne to put your horse in a winning position. He is out there. We said before, he's the king of Mildura last year. He was the leading driver there. Most weeks he has a full book of drives in the money. Back Wayne, back Danny, back any hill at the moment. And I tell you what, you'll get a good run for your money. But I'm really looking forward to Wayne joining us on the show next week, and that's why I've got him as out in the money. Horse to follow, person to follow.
Person to follow, and absolutely. If you can't pick the horses, pick the drivers as well. So I think if I've learnt one thing tonight, it's just back the hills and you'll be fine.
Yeah, back them to the hill.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Next segment.
We got the run of the week, and it's brought to you by Kapunda Harness Racing Club as well. So again, another fantastic sponsor that's jumped on for racing, pacing, chasing as well, Aaron, and you've picked one out from the field.
Run of the week, I don't think anyone would argue. Regal Scribe, absolutely outstanding run.
Leads by 7, 8, 9, 10 metres. He's going to be too good. They tried to stitch him up early, but he kills them. Regal Scribe goes on to win by 11 metres.
It was 3 wide the first 700 metres, 28.9 first quarter, and Danny was on. We go back to him, Danny and Wayne. They seemed to run for him. I had one in the race at the time. We were in the chair, sort of trying to get a forward position, and we were found wanting about 200 metres after Regal Scribe going past us, and it just kept running. It was very impressive. Lance Holden has this horse absolutely flying this preparation. Did have 12 months off the scene. 3 starts back this prep, 3 wins. I think it's a horse to follow in SA. It's the, if you want to pick one of the shining lights out of SA at the moment, there's some nice horses at the top. This horse is really going to go through the grades, and I tell you, there's no value in it. It'll be short for the coming weeks, but Regal Scribe, I tell you what, it's looked impressive in its 3 back. I don't know what it's done in its 12 months out, but it's had a great holiday somewhere, and it's come back bigger, better, and stronger.
Yep. So get that into your multis. One for your
it's a one out in the multi for the
well,
next month. All right, until I next advise.
Yeah, no, that's an absolute beauty. And Aaron, we're moving on to the trial file as well. One that we've found an impressive runner from the trials.
Yeah, there was only a few trials at Gawler on Sunday, but always good that the footage goes straight up from the Gawler trials, and they do a great job, the Gawler Harness Racing Club, with the trial footage. But Costa del Magnifico hasn't had a start here in SA yet, and Chris Nielsen trains it. Very astute trainer, Chris Nielsen. First up from WA this Saturday night, Jake Webster does take the drive for Chris. They've had good success in recent times, so we've got Jake on very shortly now, and we'll chat to him about his chances. Drawn the car park, drawn barrier 6 on Saturday night, but it was interesting. The trial the week before, he made up a lot of ground and galloped. Actually went rough on that occasion and was probably a little unusual for the horse. But Chris sorted him out with the week. Very impressive in the trial, and he's won near on 200,000 from 67 starts. So reasonably handy. I'd like to have him in backyard. Don't get me wrong. So I think he's. Out of the trial, certainly one to follow. He may struggle from barrier 6, and Jake might say the same from being conservative, but he's a nice horse, and he's going to have serious, coming into the Country Cup season later in the year, he's going to have some serious parts to play. Yeah,
it'd be great to watch, and certainly one for the punters to follow when, if you can, maybe just follow whether Jake's got the gloves on or off that night as well.
We'll talk to him about that in the interview shortly. So that's all for the pacing segment of Racing, Pacing and Chasing this week. It's a wrap-up of harness racing in SA. We are going to go abroad, Australia-wide as well, little bit where we can. But we're going to take a break now. I'm going to come back with Jake Webster, our special guest for the night. And we're back with our special guest today on the pacing segment, 90, Jake Webster. Doesn't need any introduction. The name in the surname known to all harness racing followers, but no doubt building his own reputation in SA and Australia abroad as well. Plenty of people know him around the place. But Jake, great to have you on board for the special segment this week.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me. Great show you got going. Good initiative, and hopefully we can get our product out to a wider community.
So, Jake, tell us how you got involved in harness racing back from a very young age.
Obviously family driven, born into the Webster family, so didn't really have a choice. I was probably on the trotters and paces before I could walk, so just been in it ever since. Haven't really missed a day since I was at one. And
mate, current horses in work, how many you got? And what one of your favourites from there?
I've only got one in work, 3 Kings. I got one more to come back next month or so. She had a bit of a sore knee. like her, she's got a bit of ability, so only got the one and then the one more to come.
So in total, how many horses? It's just the two.
Just the two, mate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just the two, but growing, and we'll talk about Three Kings because very interesting winner, and we'll probably spend a little bit of time on him here because very interesting winner last Monday at Globe Derby. Racing this Saturday night, you got your brother aboard, so your brother Brody drives as well and got a concession claim. Obviously the Claim 5 driver as well, so that's there's Claim 3 and Claim 5 drivers. So you've taken full effect of his claim this week and you've drawn the pole. But Three Kings, let's talk about the Monday before. Very good winner, you on. You didn't fail to just launch him. You like just sending him to the chair and just keep running, and you found the top.
Yeah, I got a habit of driving him probably harder than I need to. The old man's not overly wrapped with it, but if you
We
get
did
the
discuss
results,
it, yes.
then, you can't complain. But he went pretty good. Obviously, he was down in class and what he'd been racing in the West, and thought we're better off being in the race and being out the back. So.
And he was first up for you, so you'd only had him a few weeks as well.
Yeah, I only had him a few weeks. He's not the kind of horse you can work overly hard, so you'll definitely take some improvement from the run, and his work in between his first up runner and this week has improved, so expecting a forward show on Saturday.
Can he hold up from the one? That's probably the question this week, and punters out there, you know, there's some quick beginners out wide, but the ace draw is the draw that we all like. Can he hold up?
Yeah, look, we wouldn't trade it. He was pretty quick in the West, and he was probably quick in a harder grade. So he's been racing M1, M2, and holding his own there. So you would think coming back to a lower grade, even though there is some speed, that he should be able to boot up. Pretty confident he'll lead.
So said he's come from the West. So how did you find Three Kings?
I was just looking for a new horse, really. I trained down the beach, so I was trying to find sort of an old claimer type that would maybe have a new lease of life down there. And was speaking to a couple of people from WA. I'd lived there for a couple of years, so I knew a few people over there, and he came up as an option. And he was 9 rising 10, so he's 10 now, so he's a little bit old, but we just thought he would suit. So
yeah, so a horse like him, obviously 9, heading into 10, how much longer left racing would he have in him?
We got to do your research a little bit. We had a look at him. I knew the people that sort of had him, and I gave him a call. And soundness-wise, he's pretty good. So that means, touch wood. That means you might get an extra sort of 12 or 18 months out of him. If they've got a few niggles and that, then he'd probably be coming to the twilight. But so far, so good. So expecting him to race.
And just on him, we haven't got it on our questions here, but the rating system, it is now been introduced, and he's a very low-rated horse for a horse that's won 180-odd thousand. You know, so maybe just explain to our viewers a little bit of that without giving away, without too much where you found him, because you found him. It's been a needle in a haystack, and credit to you.
Yeah, it was a little bit. To be honest, to start with, that wasn't where I was going with it. I was just trying to find a horse that would suit, and then when I did look him up and saw how low it was, I sort of looked into it, and being the fact they have metro races over there, you can drop points faster than what you can in Adelaide without the metro. So basically, if he was running on a Friday night and not running first 5, he was dropping double the amount of points he would be than if he was racing Saturday night here and not running first 5.
So that horse effectively was racing up to M2 grade, and effectively on Monday was back to a C1 on this new national rating system. So credit to you, great find. You know.
Got to be very, very happy with that. Some very good work, mates. And talking about good work, the white gloves. I've heard you're a bit of a fan. Now, I've just been asked, were you wearing the white gloves on Saturday night when Ace to play Gallops?
No, a bit of a stitch up here. I reckon Bain's got me. It all started back with a horse that we had called Special Reason. A couple of juniors had been driving it and getting it beat, and I'd been away, and I came back puffing the chest out and peacocking around, showing, this is how you do it, boys, this is how you do it, and had the white gloves all ready to go, Chris Alford style, and got left about 200 metres at the start and came back and spat the dummy through the gloves everywhere, and never ever again. Haven't put them on since. Don't know where they are. They got barred after one drive.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Where the question come from.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll go quickly. We've got to wind up, and we do got to finish with the hard-hitting 10 questions in 60 seconds. But I just want to ask quickly, Jake. 2 drives Saturday night. We spoke about him before. He was my trial file Costa del Magnifico.
Yep.
And also Show Me the Moolah, which probably looked a good thing beat on Monday.
Yeah, Show Me the Moolah was going to win Monday. Ran out of room, sort of got a bit scared and galloped, but it's only a new trotter. Has a lot of ability, but is racing out of its grade on Saturday.
Yep.
Probably can't win this week, but wherever it races next, if it goes back into its right grade and it trots, I think it'll win. Costa, first up in the state, a lot of ability, car park draw is going to make it hard. If he runs on, I think we'll be happy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Righto, Nighty, I'm going to throw straight to you. You got 1 minute. 10 seconds with 10 questions in 60
10
seconds.
seconds.
10 questions in 60 seconds each week. This is how we're going to finish with our special guest segment. Way you go.
No,
Quick
mate.
answers.
Looking forward to this, Jake. So, mate, we'll start from the start.
Pressure's on.
The best horse you've seen?
Lazarus in the West.
Best horse driven?
In the races, Hoka Nevada, at home, Ryan's Day.
Best horse you've trained?
Winterfield was the best horse for us.
Yeah, that was a nice one, Winterfield. Best driver you've ever seen?
Bias answer Jeffrey, Gavin Lang the other one.
Yep. And the best trainer?
Mark Purden.
Yeah, good to see, not Aaron. The biggest race you've won?
The Oaks last year on Matty Craven's filly.
Yep, beautiful. And the race you'd most likely to win?
SA Cup.
Yep. And the best track you've driven on?
Addington in New Zealand.
Yeah, why is that?
Just a different stigma in the racing over there. It's more like gallops. A lot of people sort of follow the harness racing more there than they do here. So great track, great environment.
Yes, and mate, of course, last of all, the gloves.
No, definitely not.
Yes or no? No. Anyway, great segment. Jake, thanks for joining us tonight. And as we said before, we've got Wayne Hill joining us in this segment next week, so we look forward to Wayne. But Jake, great insight. Good luck Saturday night with Three Kings. Obviously, your brother taking a drive there, you training. You've got two other drives with Costa del Magnifico and Show Me the Mullah. So punters no doubt follow both of those, and also Three Kings Saturday night. But thanks for joining us.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
And that's all. We'll be back after the break.